Excellent. Wait a couple minutes. Hopefully, let's see, the stream's starting. Looks like 1 out of 3, 2 out of 3, 3 out of 3 streams are live. Sweet. Hopefully we get some chat. Let me know in the chat whether or not everything's golden. Oh, looks like boom. There we go. Excellent. Bill, thanks for coming. Dominic, thanks for coming on. Oh, Dominic, you're from Poland, Warsaw, huh? Excellent. Warsaw, Poland. Don't know much about Poland, to be honest with you. Okay. Yeah, I was so I'm into soccer if you know, and or football. Sorry for the rest of the world. And my team just announced a big signing 20 minutes ago. So I was watching the video of the guy that we signed from Argentina and all that kind of jazz. So, and then I looked up and was like, oh shoot, it's 11:29. I got 2 minutes to get on there. So yeah, that was fun. Okay. Wolf, Jeff, thanks for coming on. Rian, thank you. Excellent. Hope everyone's doing good today. Sweet. My internet connection has been a little wonky lately, so hopefully we don't have too many issues today. Hopefully hopefully everything's smooth. And so yeah, and I got my old man sweater on today. I got this for Christmas from my parents, and yeah, I like it. It's got pockets down here. It's definitely an old man sweater, but I like it. It's comfy. It's pretty good. York, excellent. Loved York. I spent just a weekend there. And the old man himself, my father, is here, who actually gifted me this wonderful sweater for Christmas. Yes. Changed my glasses today, too. I got my round ones on. Haven't worn those for a little while. Yes, old man sweater. Yes. Not as old as you, though. Okay. So today we are... yeah, Jeff, nothing wrong with being old, man. So today we're going to be looking at, man, hold on. Let me close Slack because I'm on this little soccer group and they're chit chatting all about the new signings and I'm getting all these notifications. Let me turn on some do not disturb too. Okay. Do not disturb is on. Okay. So today we're going to do part 3 of me designing this site. I said I was going to be done by the end of this week, but I don't know. Hopefully we'll be done by the end of this week. I don't know. This site's taking me forever just because, I mean, it's not all I'm working on, right? I shipping bugs, helping customers and, helping you guys on everywhere. So yeah, it's, yeah, it is what it is. But luckily for you, I kind of just transitioned from one week to the next. You can kind of see how I did quite a bit of work, tweaking since last week. I was actually refining kind of a workflow because I was kind of talking about it on Friday at the Hangouts, if you were there. While I make a lot of tools and stacks and I make a lot of web pages, I don't necessarily do a lot of website design, if that makes any sense, right? Which is kind of funny because I make tools for you guys so you can make websites. But most of the stuff that I do every day, all day, I'm making stacks or fixing bugs or adding features. And then I'll implement like a little section or a demo thing on, I use Sandbox on my Sandbox site, right? So then I'm just constantly making, small little snippets or demos or portions of web pages, publishing, testing stuff, making sure it works, and obviously helping, you guys out and whatnot. But I don't necessarily take a lot of time to design an entire web page, right? Kind of like the shoemaker's dilemma, right? I'm busy making shoes instead of building or wearing. Well, that's kind of, yeah, the dilemma. Okay. So it was kind of fun this week looking at how the workflow in terms of, what is a good workflow for Foundation? And I've done workflows before, and I know I've talked about how Foundation is mobile first. And I did a mobile first video for Foundation 1, but that was years and years ago, right? And Rapidweaver's improved it. We have the new simulator windows, and there are other preview apps like Solus is one. Another one that I recently started playing around with was, oh man, Svg or something. Yeah, Svg is another new one. But I just started using the Rapidweaver preview windows, and something just got my eye. The simulator windows, and I thought it would be fun to kind of show you that workflow that I kind of thought worked well, and then the philosophy of doing this mobile first design, right? So like designing just for it. It started paused. Oh, okay. So yeah, let's just dive in. I also, hold on one second. Let's see. Okay, cool. Oh shoot, it shared the wrong screen. Hold on one second. Give me 1 second. I switched my display. Yeah, whatever. Hold on 1 second. I messed up here on something here. Oh shoot. And then hold on, you're just gonna have to wait for 1 second. Let's do screen capture. I want to replace this with video, screen capture. Ah, shoot. You know what? I'll just have to, 1 second here. Darn it. I didn't think about that. Screen capture. New screen capture. All right. Ah, there we go. Cool. There we go. Just make sure you guys are seeing a Rapidweaver right now, right? Oh, and I forgot to change my screen resolution. Oh. Hold on. Let me see if I can. Hold on 1 second. Let me go back to something. Actually, hold on. Let's go back to this screen right here. Well, I'm gonna get rid of that. 1 second, guys. Sorry. I know it's a lot easier for you guys if I raise my screen resolution, and hopefully this doesn't kill the live stream. I'm going to be very upset if it does. But let's just go ahead and try this again. Okay. Boom. There we go. Excellent. Woohoo. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Just in the chat, just let me know. Hopefully everything is good. You guys see Rapidweaver right now, correct? If you could let me know in the chat, I would appreciate it. I'm going to continue on, and let me open up the correct project, because we need the correct project here. RW. There we go. This one. Cool. Thanks, Sarah. You know, got to curtail to you old guys, Jeff. You know, your old eyes here. You know, nice and big. Just for everyone, Jeff is a regular on the Hangouts, and I give him an old time, a good old time every now and then. Okay. Okay, so here's Rapidweaver. Let's show you kind of what I've done so far. We'll just preview this locally. Actually, no, what we'll do is, let's go ahead and open up the simulator. Okay, so Rapidweaver has a simulator window. Now, I have two displays, and what I do is, I obviously I can't show this live here, but I can't show you two displays at the same time. What I normally do is I have Rapidweaver open on one display, and on my second display, I'll have 3 different simulator windows. Okay. What I'll do here is I'll add a new desktop. Okay. And then we'll move these simulator windows over here. Okay. So now just pretend I'm going to swipe between these 2 displays, or these 2 workspaces. And you can kind of see my simulator setup. Okay. Now you can, like I said, you can have multiple simulator windows open. And what's kind of cool is I've saved my simulator window layout already. So if you go click on this little, if you open up a simulator window and you click on this little doohickey here, and you go window layout, and then I have a saved layout here. I just called it default preview. Okay. And you could have multiple of them. I can click on that. And what it will do is, it looks much different now that I have my screen resolution different. What's kind of cool is it actually remembers your layout, right? And what's also cool is if you scale these down, it actually scales the entire website down. So you really get to see what it looks like on that particular device because it scales everything down. It's not like changing a browser window. It actually scales everything down, which is really cool. Okay. So, here we go. Now I have a preview of all 3, right? In one view. Pretty cool, right? Okay. And what's really nice is I can go, if I make any changes, oops, I didn't want that. Okay, if I make any changes inside edit mode, actually what we're going to do is I'm actually going to move this particular one over here. Okay, if I make any changes to Rapidweaver, any of my settings in edit mode, all the simulator windows will actually auto update in the background. So you don't need to re-preview, they're just kind of there, right? And imagine if you had these on 2 different displays like I do. I know not everyone has 2 displays, but if you had this on 2 displays, it just makes it very, very convenient, right? Because I just look over to the next display and see everything that's in preview, okay? But it's not too bad. You could just swipe and then see the preview, okay? And if you're doing mobile first, which we're going to be doing right now, it's not too bad to kind of just see everything here. Actually, it's kind of, I like it in this configuration. For some reason, I like my previews on the left. So I can change all the settings here and we'll see the actual changes there. And then we can swipe to see tablet and desktop on this other one, just to kind of verify things. We'll make them a little bigger so they're easier to see. And then you can also, if you click on this, you can say like 100%. So that'll make it the actual size, right? If you notice up here at the very top, it says 0.88x, right? I guess I should talk about how you can add new simulator windows as well. So I'm going to go ahead and close these off. I'll leave this one open. So if you click on this, you can choose the device you want. So Real Mac has gone ahead and kind of pre-sized out a lot of these devices. So you can be like, I want to see what it looks like on an iPhone SE. And then they also have this little toolbar thing where you can see vertical and portrait mode. Okay, so that's what it looks like on portrait. That's what it looks like on landscape. I think I personally don't design for landscape on iPhones. Okay, I don't browse my website on landscape on an iPhone. Just it's not going to look good. Okay, so we'll go back to 15-inch MacBook Pro, right? And you can also click on this little doohickey in the middle, so we can go there to 13-inch MacBook Pro. Okay. You can also go ahead and if you click on this, you can do open new simulator window. Okay. So this particular one is an iPhone 8. Let's say we want to make this one, I had it before, an iPad. Let's do iPad Pro. Okay, so there we go. So now I have a MacBook Pro and an iPad Pro, and you can add as many as you want. Let's add one more. Let's add one more simulator window, and we'll do a iPhone X. Why not? Okay. Now, I actually have 4 simulator windows open because remember I have another one on this desktop. Okay, I have the iPhone X. Oh, I already have the iPhone X. So let's go ahead and do iPhone 8. Or let's do 8 Plus since that's actually a different width. Oh man, so you got some work there to do. Okay. Yeah, that's really funky. Looks totally different. Interesting. Okay. Now let's say every time I open up a simulator, I want it to open up all 4 of these windows. Okay. We'll scale this one down so we can kind of see all of them at the same time. Okay. So you just go here, and then you can go window layout, or actually you can say save window layout as. Okay. And then you can give it a name. So let's just do live stream layout. Okay. Say save. And now, if you ever wanted to, if you look here, it's save that window layout as the live stream layout. So if I ever open up a simulator window and go to window layout and click on this, it will open up 4 different preview windows. It'll remember the window locations and everything. It works really, really, really well. So yeah, this is super helpful. Now, one tip that I figured out was if you just opened up Rapidweaver and you've never previewed in Rapidweaver and you open the simulate windows, sometimes they'll be blank. And I've noticed that if you never preview in Rapidweaver, the simulator windows won't show anything. So the fix to that is just to preview in Rapidweaver once, and once you do that, the simulate windows seem to work perfectly. Okay, so that's something. Okay, let's go ahead and preview. Let's look at what I've kind of done since last week, or at least I can remember what I did since last week, since we last saw it. And iPhone 8 Plus is definitely funky. It's a little bit weird. Might have to play with that. I had configured everything for iPhone 10, which is a little bit smaller than the 8 Plus, with a little narrower. Okay, as you see, that looks great. So what I did here is I changed kind of the buttons here. These buttons go on one row, or they take up the full width, so they go on top of each other. I've changed the positioning of these, right? Of these Lego icons on mobile. If you go further down, if you remember last week, this section just looked horrible on mobile. Like, it looked really jacked up. So yeah, now it looks nice. The text goes above, and then it's over on the left on tablet and desktop. Yeah, it looks really nice. Here, I actually reduced the number of icons that I had in this section. I thought it was too much. I added too many icons last week. And I haven't, thank you for those that submitted your reviews. I haven't added them to the pages yet, but I will. And if you haven't yet, please go ahead and send in a little review if you'd like to be. I'd appreciate it. I'm trying to get about a dozen reviews. Just really quick 1-2 sentence reviews that I can put on this homepage. And ladies, step up. I need some reviews from ladies as well. Can't have all the guys on the homepage, right? We got to represent. So, ladies, please go ahead and submit me some reviews too. I'd appreciate that. This section here, I need to do a little bit of fixing here. I don't think I finished. I didn't finish a lot of these sections here. So, this no code needs to I need to tweak that a little bit so it goes up. This little purple section here doesn't look as good as this, right? This looks really nice. Okay, so we need to tweak that. So we'll probably work on that a little bit today. And then the helpful, I haven't added any of the SVG icons there. And again, this one looks pretty jacked too. This is what the other sections used to look like. So yeah, we got a little bit of work to do. But everything still looks good on tablet. So we need to start looking on how we can make things look good on mobile. Okay, so what is the workflow here? Like I said, I think it's great having the simulate window just always kind of open, especially in mobile view. Okay, and just have it sitting right next to Rapidweaver. And what's kind of nice is that if you're working on a particular section, it will stay in that section in preview. So it's not going to reload when you make changes and go all the way to the top, right? So that's kind of nice. I'm going to review this section here on what I did, okay? On how I kind of did just a little overview of a pre-done section on mobile first design, okay? So let's look at, that's this section right here, okay? And so first off, we'll notice that the two column, obviously the buttons are on top of each other now. They weren't before. So oops, let's move these settings here. Actually, you know what? I don't think I need this. Oops, don't need that. Don't need that. Let's just shrink that down. I want to shrink the window down. There we go. Okay. So in this two column, I've gone ahead and set on small, it's going to be 100%. Okay. And then on medium, it's going to be auto and auto. So essentially that means, you know, on mobile, on small, it's going to, these columns are going to take up the full width. And then on tablet and above, they're going to turn into two columns because this is a two column setup. Now, another thing that I did was, if you look on these buttons here, okay, if you look here, they're centered on mobile, but on tablet, right? If we look at, the buttons they look centered, okay, but what they are is this button is aligned to the right, and the Buy Now button is aligned to the left, okay. So essentially, what I did is in these buttons, you just go to the alignment options and you say small center, medium left, right? Before here, let me just show you if I do small left and then we'll do medium inherit. Let's show you how it used to be set up. And actually, is it down here? Oh no, I fixed this one. Okay. So this is what I had last week. I had, let's see, this one was small right, medium. This is how it used to be set up. And if you look here on mobile, that just looks messed up, right? If you look over here, because this button is aligned to the right, and this button is aligned to the left. That's not what we want, right? So we start off with our style for mobile. So we're going to center it, and then on medium we're going to align this one to the right, and then on this one we're going to center it, and on medium we're going to align it to the left. Okay, and that if you see this mobile view automatically updates as I just change these stack settings. So that looks great. And if we wanted to verify, it looks good on tablet as well and on desktop. Okay. So next up, what I did here was these Legos. Okay, so I don't think I had these. So what I did, another thing that I did is before I had all the styles up inside site styles, okay, and I decided to utilize the Swatches Stack. Okay, so site styles has a lot less styles now. It's more of styles that are for everything across the site, right? More of things that are, there are things that are, you know, really styled for for either the entire page or multiple things across the entire site. For styles of things that are for a particular section, I've added a Swatches Stack right directly above that particular section. Okay, so this section I called the Getting Started, right? Because it's kind of this Getting Started section. So I just added a Swatches Stack above the container. You can actually add it in the container if you wanted, but I just wanted to add it right above. Okay, and then I used some pens to just kind of, these are all styles just for the Legos. Okay, so again, these swatches are only for these 3 Legos. Okay, and these Legos are hidden. I just hid them to save a little bit of space. Okay, but here I'll show them so it's maybe a little bit easier for you guys to visualize. So this particular one is Lego 2x3 or 2x3, right? So obviously all the styles for that are here. Okay. So if you'll notice, I have 3 different swatches here. First off, I have a width swatch, okay, that restricts the width of that particular Lego. And then I have a position swatch, 2 position swatches actually. And the reason I have two position swatches is one position swatch is for the default, which is on small. And then the next one is actually it changes on large. Okay. So what I can do is just for reference, I'm gonna take a quick screenshot of this. Okay. And then I'm gonna delete this stack. Okay. I think it's negative 80, 50. Okay. So I'm gonna delete this just so we can kind of see. Okay. This is what people might normally do. Okay. And actually what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to delete this one as well. Because max 128 on small. Okay. I remember now. Okay. So right now we are adjusting this guy, this big Lego. And I deleted a couple swatches. Okay. And I kept the position swatch on there just because, I know I want to position it. Okay. So I have based on pixels, negative 80, negative 40, and that kind of brings it up behind this area here. Okay. But it's big. Okay. So let's go ahead and add a width swatch. Okay. So we add a width swatch into this pen, and we're going to target this. And actually, I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I'm actually gonna do space SVG because I want to target the SVG that's within that class. Okay, so I'm cheating a little bit here. Okay, and then I'm gonna go to the min max settings, and I'm gonna go to simple. And I don't want a minimum width, but I do want a maximum width. And so I'm gonna do a maximum width of 128. Okay, and if you look there, that looks great. Right, I like that. It's very, it's still there. It looks good on mobile. And let's go ahead and check it out on tablet. So on tablet, it's there. On desktop, it's here. I do think that it could be bigger on tablet. I think I'm okay with the position, but let's deal with the sizing right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy and paste this with swatch. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the media query here from being all to being medium and large. And for kicks, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this max width to be none. So I want no minimum width, and I want to cancel out the maximum width because I just don't want, I want no maximum width. Okay. So let's go ahead, and it still looks good on mobile. We can see this because obviously I didn't change anything on mobile. But now if we go over to tablet and desktop, hey, look, that looks pretty decent. Right? I think, the size of that is good. That's just the native size of that SVG. So we're good to go. Right. But if I wanted, I could say max width and change this to be 256, let's say. Okay. And that looks actually pretty decent as well. Okay. But if you look here on large, I don't care for the position. I'm good with the position on tablet, but on desktop, I'm not. Okay. So I'm gonna change this max to be none again. Okay, so now I'm happy with the size of this SVG on tablet, desktop, and mobile. Okay, but I want to change the position on desktop. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste this position swatch. We're going to change the media query to be large only. And I think it was negative 80, 50, I believe it was. Okay, so now on large, I'm changing the right, I'm basically shifting it more to the right. Okay, and for preview now, that looks decent, right? So on tablet, we're here, and on large, if you remember the Lego was over here, we shifted it over. Okay, and so that is, in essence, mobile first design. I first verified that everything that I wanted looked good on mobile. Then I tweaked it to make sure that that design still looked good on tablet and desktop. And I did that by adding more swatches and enhancing the design with a media queries. So this one targeted large, and this one targeted medium and large. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Now I'm going to do one more thing. I got all this and I have 4 swatches, which is pretty good. Okay. But now that I have it done, I can do what's called refactoring. Now this is kind of a coding term. If you're a coder, you're probably familiar with what refactoring is, but it's basically analyzing what you have and then tweaking it to optimize things a little bit. Now, if you notice before, I didn't have, I only had 3 swatches for this particular Lego. I didn't have 4. And the reason is this particular setup here with this width, I can refactor that. Because here on small, I'm defining a max width of 128 pixels. But then essentially on medium and large, I just want no max width. Right? I basically, I'm trying to, the purpose of this swatch is to negate this particular swatch, right? It's basically nullifying this 128 pixel. Okay. Now, if I wanted to explicitly say a value here, then yes, I would need both. Okay. But in this case, I just wanted to negate this particular swatch on medium and large. So what I can do is I can actually delete this. Okay. And then on this swatch here, instead of it being media query all, I can just change this one to be small only. Okay. So now I've optimized my styles here. I've optimized it so that this particular style only is applied on mobile. Okay. But hopefully that, you can see, now this in terms of, raw code, it's not much code. I mean, deleting that one swatch is probably a few bytes, right? But every little bit counts, okay? And B, later on, when we're going ahead and maybe looking at this a month later, having less swatches just makes things a little less, confusing. It makes it a little cleaner, right? So hopefully it makes it a little easier to manage. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay, I'm not seeing much chatter, so hopefully in the chat box, if you have any questions, go ahead and post those. But hopefully that makes some sense for you guys. And I did the same exact thing on these other Legos, right? So on this particular one, this is the 2x2. So down here, I did a small only. I tweaked the size on mobile. And then I just tweaked the position one for the default position. And then this particular one is the position for medium and large. And then over here, this is the default position. And then on large only, I wanted to tweak the position. But I didn't necessarily want to tweak the width on this one at all. I was fine with the width everywhere. Okay. Cool. Yeah, there we go. Another thing that I did in these like content swatches or these the swatches for a particular section, what I did was I actually turned on detailed styled palettes, so that when I'm working on this, I'm either going to hide it or unhide it. And when I unhide it, I would like just to always see the detail of everything. So that's just a nice little thing. You can turn that on or off. It's off by default. And by default, if you click on a pen, it'll kind of show you the actual details. So if you click on a pen, it'll show all the details within the pen, or if you click on a particular swatch. Okay. But I kind of liked it where, since a lot of this didn't really have much data to it, just show the detailed styles all the time. Okay. Cool. One thing, I'm not sure I did this last week. I think I just showed this at the Hangout on Fridays. Sometimes what I do on the live streams versus what I do in the Hangouts is confusing to me. I always forget what I did where. But if you notice, my edit mode looks streamlined quite a bit, actually. And this is, I've tweaked Foundation for 6.8 when I actually ship this. I've done a few things here. There's a new setting that's going to be turned on by default in Foundation 6.8, and it's called Streamline Edit Mode. And if I turn that off, this is what things look like for you right now. Okay, and I don't know if you notice it, but the scrolling is kind of stuttery. And I've done quite a bit of work, and I've noticed that like a lot of these dotted lines and borders and background colors, they kind of just, while they add to the UI, they do have their negative aspects in terms of making scrolling potentially a little stuttering. Okay, so what I've done is I have this new setting that kind of just streamlines the UI a little bit. And if you notice, when you click on a particular section, it still allows the background colors to be displayed when you've selected something. So it basically is whatever you have selected, all of its children will actually kind of be outlined a little bit so that you can, easily see everything within it. Okay, but everything else is kind of very similar to just what we see inside preview. Okay, a little bit, right? Obviously it's not perfect, but we can still see all the stacks. But again, if I click on this, then we can kind of see everything within there. Okay, so it's kind of a streamlined interface. I'm pretty happy with it. I've been tweaking it as I work and go along and things like that. If you notice, shelf up here looks a little bit different as well. It kind of hovers and it's it's kind of overlaid on top of the content a little bit. And I've modified the sizing chart to be more compact view that we had inside site styles, just so that it just takes up a little bit less space than that big huge table that the size chart stack used to have. And then lastly, in site styles, we have detailed swatches. Two new settings was if we click on here, there was always the display sizing chart here. Since I had the sizing chart separate, you can turn that off. But this is a new setting. You can actually turn off. By default, we have all these color blocks, these color palettes, which are nice. But sometimes they do take up space, right? And sometimes space is a premium inside edit mode. So what it is, I added an option to hide those. You can still, see all the colors. If you click on site styles, you can see all the colors here. But I think that just makes things a little bit more streamlined. So that will be on by default still, but you'll have the ability to turn that off. Okay. Now I see someone asked about what I did with that SVG. Okay. So where was that section? Let's go back to that. Okay. So in here on this width swatch, you'll notice that I did a Lego 2x3 space SVG. And that ultimately comes to this CSS selector, the class Lego 2x3 SVG. Okay, what does that mean? Yeah, this is definitely going above beginner level now, right? A little bit, okay? Essentially, it's the same as if I were to go to custom CSS class and just type in what you saw there in here, okay? I'm just kind of manipulating it a little bit, okay? And what does that do? Okay, so let's go ahead and let's look at this SVG, okay? So here's an SVG stack, okay? And I have a custom class in here, okay? And this custom class is added to like a wrapper, a div wrapper that goes around an SVG, because my SVG itself is inside this code box, right? Okay, so it's this big code box. I pasted this SVG in here, okay? And with this particular swatch that I have, okay, I wanted to affect the SVG, not the SVG container, okay? This might be a little confusing. Let's go ahead and inspect this. So also in these simulator windows, you can open up the inspectors, which is quite nice, okay? And then you can target somewhere. Oh, well, let's just target that. And inside that container, we'll have, here's my Lego 2x3, okay? Let me make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see it, okay? So here is my, if you notice, this is a div. It has my Lego 2x3. And if you look at when I hover over this, it shows it inside of the inside the simulator window. Okay. Now, if I expand that, you'll notice that there's an SVG in there. Okay. And what's going on here is that if I were to apply that width swatch to this div class, Okay. Here, let's go ahead and do that, right? I'm going to delete that. Okay. What you'll notice is, even though I applied a maximum width to that container, shoot, it got all messed up. Let's go ahead and find it again. There it is. Okay, so I applied a width to this particular Lego 2x3. Okay, and we can see it here, max width 8 rem. 8 rem is 128 pixels. Okay, and if we go to this computed, we'll see that the width is 128 pixels. A height is 151 pixels though. Okay, and then the SVG here. If you notice, the SVG is 189 pixels and 151 pixels. And the reason for that is the width here, the width and height of the SVG are explicitly defined in the code. Now, I could, if I wanted to, have manipulated this SVG code so that I can delete those attributes. But I wanted to kind of show you guys how things kind of, that is more difficult because you have to go in and edit that code. Okay. So essentially, dang it, whenever you change things in Rapidweaver, the inspector resets, which is kind of annoying. Okay. So as you noticed, by tweaking just that, by adding the class to the SVG stack, that isn't necessarily adding the class to the SVG itself. Now, one thing I could go ahead and add my own class in here as well. I can do class equals, whatever, and add a class into there. But again, that's not necessarily, easy to remember, that I did that. Because let's say I want to update this SVG, I'm going to forget that I added that class. And then I'm going to go ahead and paste it, maybe an updated SVG. And then it's just going to be blown away. And then either things will be broken and I'll have to remember why, right? But by targeting the class, and then if I just do space SVG, it's going to target the SVG inside of Lego 2x3. Okay, so hopefully that clarifies why I did it that way. Okay, and if you notice, when I changed that, everything looked how I wanted. Because I'm telling the SVG to limit its width to 128 pixels. Okay, because before it wanted to do 189 pixels because that's what the SVG was built at. Okay, and it has the width attribute there. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay, cool. Okay, so let's see, any other questions? You like the streamline look? Cool, thanks. I'm glad that you like the streamline look. I've had maybe one or two people that didn't like it, but a vast majority of the people that I've shown have loved the streamlined look. And it really does, the scrolling, man, it just, like, I can scroll just like super fast. I can scroll up and down, and yeah, I couldn't do that before. So yes, it just makes it much nicer to work with. Okay, so yeah, I spent more time reviewing what I did in the past, more than I thought I was going to. We're going to tweak this view down here. If you have any other questions about how I did particular things on this page, I guess one thing that's interesting is this fast and modern. Okay, so columns, content columns here. Let's go ahead and I'll show this picture. Okay. It looks really big in edit mode, which is why I minimize it. Okay. Now, if we look on desktop, okay, a lot of times what you do is, actually, was it this one? No, actually, it is the no code design. Okay, because the no code design section, if you notice here in the fast and modern, it's how we would expect. The first column, I have the column here. It's the text. The second column is the picture, and that obviously shows them in the second column. But if we look on this one, I have the text on the top, and then I have the image below. But if we look on tablet, the text is on the right and not on the left. How do we do that? Okay. So when doing your layouts inside Rapidweaver, you want to design your columns to how they are to look on mobile first. So on mobile, I want my text on the top and my image on the bottom. So that's what I did here. It's going to look exactly the same as it does in the layout above. First column is text, second column is an image. Okay? But how do we make it so that on medium and large devices, it's not? Okay, it's the opposite. So I'm gonna turn off the settings that I actually did here. Okay, really, really simple as well. So we're just gonna go ahead and change all those. Okay, so now I've changed everything to the default settings in the columns. Okay, so that if we preview now, we'll see that my text is on the right. My text is on the left and my image is on the right, but I want them the opposite. Okay, so how do we do that? So this is only an option in the columns pro stacks. So if you're using the normal default columns, so the column 2, column 3 stacks, you cannot do this. You have to use columns pro for this. Okay, so you go to the individual column, and then there's something called ordering. There's some settings here called ordering, and we want to change the order on medium. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the order of the first column to be 2, and the order of the second column to be 1. Okay, and you'll notice that on small it still looks fine. But if we now go to medium and large, it's swapped. Okay. Now you can also go ahead and essentially the order means I want the second column to be the first column. So I set that order to be 1. And then I want my first column to be the second column. So I'm going to set the order to be 2. So we're changing the order of things. And just for demo sakes, I can go ahead and set on large, I want this one to be 1, and on large, I want this one to be 2. Okay, so that means on mobile, everything looks good, right? My text is on the top, image is on the bottom. And then on tablet, it looks good. On medium, my text is on the right, which is what I wanted. But then if we look on desktop, look, the text is back on the left. Okay, and that's because obviously I don't want that, but I just wanted to show you that you can use this ordering and change it on all different sizes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set that large back to default. And when you set something to default, it essentially inherits from the one above, right? So I set it on medium to be 1. If I set large to be default, it's just gonna inherit what's on the medium. Okay, so there we go. Set that to be default. And verify that's what we want. And voila. Looking good. Cool. So yeah, that's a really good trick to learn. I'm gonna go ahead and hide this picture just so everything looks good now. But I want to tweak this. Okay, this section actually wasn't all complete. That's right. I want to tweak this a little bit on. Okay, so this is the no code. I have no swatches for this, the no code section. I think I had, okay, here's the no code blob. Let's just copy that. I'm gonna go here. Just move that into there. Okay, cool. So this is my no code swatches. Let's see if I don't want it in site styles anymore. Okay, there we go. Because I was still transitioning to using all of those. So I moved the one swatch that was for this particular section. I moved it out into here. Actually, I just noticed something. Let me just fix it really quick. I need to move this into here. Cool. Cool. There we go. This was the love section, right? So the comment cards. So I just noticed that I still had a swatch inside the main site styles, and I wanted to move it into the swatches stack. Okay. Other things that I did, I guess I wanted to kind of quickly show also is I tweaked button sizes. So I wanted custom button sizes on different size devices. So here in site styles, I actually went and customized some of the text sizes. So I have small at 16, 18, and 20. And I changed some of the header sizes as well, so it looked good everywhere. Okay. And another thing that I did is for buttons here. So I added a font style swatch, and then I assigned this to be class of button. Okay. You could also check the button here as well. I just set the class to be button, and then I changed the text sizes to be 14, 18, and 20. Okay. And that's the sizes for the text inside the buttons that I wanted. Okay. Just to let you know, I did that. I went over customizing the line height last week, and I think I went over all the other changes. Those are really the only changes that I made. Actually, while I'm in site styles, another thing that you could do to help speed up some performance inside edit mode, if you have Font Awesome 5 loaded, go ahead. If you uncheck load icons in edit mode, it's actually the setting group here is called edit mode performance. Okay, so if you turn that off, you get the downside that you don't see the icons inside edit mode. But it will improve the performance of edit mode. So if you're okay with not seeing the icons in edit mode, go ahead and turn the load icons in edit mode off. Okay, that will speed things up for you in edit mode just a little bit. So for me, it was worth it. Like these buttons, I'm using Font Awesome 5. I don't see the actual icon. I'm seeing these little lines, and the reason for that is because I turned off the icons. And I'm okay with that because, I can see my preview window here. I can see the icons just fine. So not seeing them in edit mode doesn't harm me at all. Okay. What was I working on? No code design section. Sweet. Okay. So this container. One thing I did, I did add it there. I need to tweak this background, the no code background to be a little further down, right? So let's go ahead and, so here we have, it's at left bottom. Interesting. Okay. Let's tweak the sizing a little bit. Let's make the width. What do I have the width set to on the other one? Let's look at what I did on the other one. So if we go to fast and modern, fast blob, I'd set it to be 7560. Okay, for the background size of the other blob. Okay, let's go ahead and let's test that 7560. So let's do 75. 60, whoops, 60, okay. Oh, look at that. Just copying the sizing from the other one makes a huge difference. Cool. Look at that. That looks so much better. Boom. I'm happy with that. Okay. Now again, this looks great. Let's go ahead and look at this on it doesn't look great on medium and desktop, obviously. Okay. But it looks spot on, right? On mobile. I think that looks absolutely perfect. Super happy with that. Okay. So let's go ahead and start tweaking some stuff. All right. So let's see what I did on Fast and Modern. So Fast and Modern, I had this particular one. I had a background props swatch, which background props basically allows me to modify just the kind of these settings from the background swatch. Okay, this is a part of the Swatch pack. Okay, and so if you don't have the Swatch pack, you won't have this. You could just do a second background swatch and apply that to medium and large. But I'm going to go ahead and let's do this. So change the no code blob. Let's see, we want left bottom and background scale. It's 45, 100. So if you look, it still looks good on mobile. Let's check this out. Yes, look at that. So, you know, and this is another thing that I could potentially refactor. So just kind of remember that these background prop settings were the same, pretty much exactly the same for both of these areas. Okay. So one thing I could think of is later on when I'm refactoring is instead of having the same exact style applied to this blob and the same exact style applied to that blob, right? I could, you know, analyze both of those, create one swatch that I could add into site styles, and then apply that to that class. Okay. So that's just, I'm not going to do that right now because things might not always be the same, right? But if when I go to do this blob, if the styles are exactly the same, then I could just centralize those with a background props swatch inside site styles. Okay. And then I could just, I could apply a common class to each of these containers that have the background image class. And then, you know, I can then centralize those styles and only have it once. So then if I want to tweak all of them at the same time, I can do that really easily. Okay. But on the other hand, I might just keep it separate because it's not that much code, right? And it makes it nice that it's all, you know, contained, you know, within this one container, which is kind of nice. Okay. So let's go back to that no code design section here. Is there anything else we need to tweak here? So I have no code. Looks good. I'm really happy with that on mobile. I think it looks great. Let's go over here and man, I think I nailed it. 2 swatches and it looks good. Again, this particular one, this no props, I copied and pasted it. I set the media query to be medium and large, right? So on this particular swatch, the media query is set to all. Okay. So for all devices, including small, it's going to contain all of these styles. Then when I added this, we're saying override the default styles for medium and large, and I tweaked the background sizing options. Okay. No code design has a typo in the last line. Oh no! I am the typo king. I am the king of all typos. Foundation Stack's intuitive drag and drop interface allows you to build. Allows you to build better. Build. Thank you, Danny. Or no, who said that? Michael. Thank you, Michael. Boop. Thank you very much. Nice. But hopefully, you know, you kind of got the gist of the workflow, right? Making things look good on mobile, and then we can add more swatches to enhance those on tablet and desktop. Okay, it's possible you'll have one swatch that makes it look good on medium, and then you might need to have a second swatch, right? So then I can go ahead and copy and paste this, and let's say on desktop I wanted it even bigger. I don't know if this is going to look good or not, right? Oh, whoops, 1 second. That was my fingers doing the remembering for me. So in this particular one, it's going to be large only, right? So if we go now, it's 45% on medium, and then it's 50% on desktop. So it goes a little bit bigger, okay? in terms of the background sizing. Okay. I'm okay with where it was. But again, you could have potentially 3 different swatches for one style because you made it look good on mobile, on small. Then you added a swatch, make it look good on medium. Potentially you need to add another swatch to tweak the style so it looks good on large, right? I don't need that here. I'm happy with the same style on large, medium, and large. But you may need to do that, okay? And these simulator windows in Rapidweaver are a great way to really help you optimize that. Okay, so cool. Let's keep going a little bit here. These have to pull in a bunch of SVGs, and that always takes a lot of time. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to see if we can make this section really quick. Let's go ahead and here. Let's see. I'm going to create this. I'm going to call this save money. Okay. If you're wondering, I changed the title here so that I can see the title here, and then I also changed the title in there so it's, you know, obviously good there. Let's open up site styles because I know I have this cost blob in there, and I'm going to drag that there. All right, and we'll shrink site styles. Okay. Let's look at these settings that I had here. Let's see, I had 7560. Okay, so we're going to copy that. We're going to do 7560 as a starting point. Oops, I don't want 630, 60. Okay. Oh, also here, I need to do the, what else did this section not have? Oh, I need this to be right bottom. All right, there it goes. I need to adjust these columns a little bit so that they are what I had before. So we had 12 and 12. Oh, there we go. Look, it's already starting to look better. Okay. Oops. I do not disturb. Okay, there. Let's see. I had also done some other. Let's see. Let's delete that. Okay. And I added. Let's see, in Columns Pro. I think on the Columns Pro, just to kind of mimic what I had up here. Add that, and then and here I added a container. Okay. So on Columns Pro here, I'm going to add padding and vertical margin, just to add a little bit of spacing between the text section and the image section. Okay, on these. And then if you notice here, the content goes full width, right? You don't want text to go all over to the edge on mobile. It just doesn't look good. Okay, so previously I did a bad thing, and what I did is I added a left margin on the column stack. Okay. The better way to do that is to go ahead and we'll add a container into the column. And then I'm going to add all of the content into this container. And then what you do is on your container, make sure that it's set to site width plus gutter. Okay. And what that will do is that will automatically add a little gutter for you. Okay. And it's the same gutter for every section. So now it's standardized, which is cool. Okay. Sweet. So let's go ahead. This is looking better. This container here, I think I was standardizing. Let's look at this up here. I was using some utility classes to play with the padding, and I'm going to start with the same one that I had on this. Again, another refactoring that I'm gonna do here is when it's all said and done, is I'm gonna look at. I remember that I added some utility classes to these, and yeah, I think that's okay. And I might standardize. Instead of having all these utility classes, I might remove these utility classes and add, again, maybe one swatch that controls the padding on all of the particular containers. So then I can really tweak them all at the same time instead of having to worry about managing utility classes. I kind of review that if you watch the video on utility classes. I have a video on and look at where I'm using utility classes and maybe standardize and migrate some of those into a swatch instead. Okay, just so that they're a little easier to manage centrally later on. Okay, so let's look at this. Starting to look a little pretty good. The spacing is a little bit small here, but I could probably add later on, add some spacing to this section, because this section looks like, oh yeah, look at that. Let's go to this one. I think I had, let's copy that. I'm going to copy those utility classes to this section. Yeah, there we go. So I kind of had two different styles of sections here. I kind of have these sections that have these two columns with the, the blobs. And then I have sections that are kind of, no background. I have some SVGs and it's just, blank, it's just on the website background. And I kind of alternate them. And so I kind of decided that, these types of sections have a different level of padding than these sections. So that's something I can look at later on when I'm done with the page and standardize those. So that I can call this a particular, give this a particular class, okay, for all the sections that have blobs and the sections that don't have blobs. And I can standardize those paddings to make sure that they're uniform and the same across the entire page. That way you don't have to worry about copying and pasting utility classes and all that jazz. Okay. Let's see here. Let's look and see how this is looking on. Oh, okay. So we need on here. Oh, we need this to be right bottom. Let's try that. Oh, I need to change the class. Cost blob, my bad. Okay. Okay. See, on this particular one, I used the same settings, but I think I want it bigger, right? So, yeah, okay, we're gonna make this a little bit bigger. We're gonna make the width, let's do like 55. Okay, still looks good on mobile. Scroll over. A little bit big. Maybe we'll go to 50 instead. Yeah, I like that. Because before, like here, these images are not overlapping on tablet and they're still overlapping on desktop. Okay. And then on mobile, yeah, like that. Actually, on mobile, I might want to tweak the sizing a little bit on mobile too, actually. This blob is different enough where it's the sizing is different, going to be different than the other ones. So I'm gonna go up by, no, let's tweak the height. Let's do like 75. See, that's kind of getting there. I'm gonna go even bigger width. What if I go smaller? What does that look like? Oh, too small. Too small. 60. Nope. Definitely 75. I think is better there. Yeah, I like 75 because you kind of still see it kind of going through and it's still overlapping. So let's make sure that still looks good on tablet and desktop. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So yeah, this one, we can call this section pretty much done now, right? Boom. Cool. Like I said, I'm not going to work on getting all the SVGs added to this and bore you guys, because figuring out what SVGs I want and adding to the page is going to be a bunch of work and a long time. So do you have a simulated preview window for a Galaxy phone? So the simulator window, it doesn't have Galaxy phones listed here, but a Galaxy phone is just pixel sizes. So if you wanted to, you can add a custom window, okay? And at that point, you can size it to be what you want. So figure out what a Galaxy pixel dimensions are, and then you can size it to be that. Okay, so there you go. By default, out of the box, it has predefined settings for iPhones. And probably, I assume the Galaxy dimensions for the screen size are going to be very similar to what an iPhone is, right? So even though maybe you have, iPhone 8, 8 SE or iPhone 8 Plus, that's probably going to be close to the same dimensions. And if you look here, in the list here, Rapidweaver tells you the actual pixel sizes, right, for the device. So this is just kind of a physical reference for people to know, but it actually shows you the actual pixel dimensions here. So you just figure out what a Galaxy has, and then you should be good to go. Cool. Boom. Okay. Cool, guys. So I think we'll call it quits for today. That was good. So things we learned today. We learned a couple things. We learned, we learned about the simulator windows. If you've never used those before, give those a shot. They work really well. Okay. You can save your window layouts. Remember, if you open a simulator window and it's blank, you might need to just preview once inside Rapidweaver to kind of kickstart it. Okay. You can easily, save your window layouts, your preview layouts. You can easily open those pre-saved layouts, which are really nice. We learned, a nice workflow for doing mobile first design, right? So designing things so it looks good on mobile, then and then tweaking, adding maybe tweaking some column settings, or adding some style swatches to tweak those things so that it looks good on medium and large devices. And lastly, we saw a sneak peek on how the philosophy of, after we're done with a particular section or done with the site, actually going ahead and refactoring things, like, analyzing how you've done things as a whole and maybe tweaking things. Maybe taking out some utility classes and creating a swatch, or refactoring those positions, or refactoring some of those other swatches that I created so that you have less of them, right? So just look at your logic for things and see if you can tweak them and improve them. And also, when you do those tweaks, make sure that everything still looks good, right? Because you don't want to accidentally mess up your design, right? You want to make sure that it all still looks good. So yeah, hopefully you learned a lot today, a little bit of a workflow. And I see a bunch of questions coming in. Can we edit the code to make global changes to classes, etc.? Catching all of them graphically is difficult and error prone. You can always analyze your code. I am working with Isaiah to kind of, add a feature into Stack. So maybe we can have some sort of look at a list of all classes used or something like that. That's something that might come in a future version of Stacks. So yeah, hopefully in the future maybe, but right now, you can just analyze your, look at your swatches, look at site styles. Again, here, if you, or let's just go ahead and share my screen again really quick. If we look at site styles, right? Now this doesn't help if you're using those, swatch containers, but you can kind of see everything as a whole here inside site styles, right? So, and also, again, you can go in these, here it is, right? So, yeah. And also in site styles, if you look at site styles, if you do detailed swatches, similar to that, you can kind of see all of the styles that are associated with them as well. But you can see all of the classes that you use, just by, looking at all your swatches that you have inside site styles. And here, example here also in pen is I've, categorized these ones into a little group. Also, if you looked at when I did this particular section, this one here, right? I had multiple swatches for Lego 2x3, and I encapsulated those inside of a pen, right? So, and then I put the class that these are all associated with as the title in pen, right? So, that was just a good thing. Yeah, hopefully that helps you out a little bit. But yeah, yes, graphically knowing all the classes that you've seen could be a little difficult. But I think swatches do a decent job because all of the classes that you're using are labeled at the top of every single swatch, so you can kind of see them. And if you're good with your organization, you can group all those things that are used together, either with a pen or just line them up, visually. Like inside this site styles here, I have a couple things that are doing some global styles on all paragraphs, right? I just have them right next to each other, right? They'll work if I have it right here. But it visually, having one style here and another swatch way over here for the same thing, is difficult. So just make sure that you have them right next to each other, and you can easily see those swatches. And so if you have two, I think this is good. But if you start having more than two, maybe grouping them into a pen would be useful. So hopefully that helps out a little bit. Jeff, I've always started with large screen size and worked down, but now I see mobile first is more practical. Yeah, you know what? I have to admit, a lot of times, I do large or desktop first as well, because that's what Rapidweaver is, right? You preview in the browser. We're working on our Macs, so we're all going to be previewing in a browser or inside a Rapidweaver window, which is going to be sized for desktop, right? But using these simulator windows, it's nice because a lot of times, if you start off with mobile, it's easy to enhance those things. But if we start with desktop, sometimes we have to rethink things like, okay, like how am I going to do that, right? So I think this workflow is a winner. If you're designing a site, starting with mobile is definitely going to be a winner. Give it a shot. I'd love, if you want to start a discussion on some ideas on the community, go ahead and start that. I'm happy to chime in and give my opinion or feedback on different workflows. Okay, so cool. So I think we'll call it a day. Thank you very much. Join us on Friday. We do the live hangouts. Those are on Zoom, and what happens in the hangouts stays in the hangouts. So those are not recorded. We do a lot of really cool, fun stuff. There's a lot of heckling going on, a lot of just having fun. There may be some drinking involved some weeks. We just have a good time, okay? Nothing stupid or childish. Well, sometimes it's childish, but they're still fun. So cool. Thank you very much, guys. If I don't see you on Friday, we'll see you next week on the live stream. And I'm sure I'll probably still be doing some tweaks on this site design. So we'll probably continue that. But I want to be done with this soon because I want to release that, officially launch that Swatch pack, which if you haven't bought that Swatch pack yet, the price is going up. When I launch it, you're going to be paying $10 more. So if you want to save $10 on it, find the post and the announcements on the Weaver Space community and go buy that now. And so cool. Take care, everyone. We will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.